This reporter behaved extremely bizarrely at Lindsay Clancy's trial, then played the victim. Hey guys, welcome back to Brad vs. Everyone, our show where we give an independent and nonpartisan take on politics, media, internet insanity, and more. This one really has it all because we are going to dive into one of the wildest media stories that I've covered in a minute, and that's saying something. And it concerns, of course, the ongoing trial against Lindsay Clancy, the mother who is accused of and essentially admits to killing her 3 children. And there's this tragic criminal case unfolding and just horrific stuff. Really sad, really traumatic. And they're just essentially arguing whether or not she had criminal intent or whether she's not guilty by way of insanity due to some form of postpartum psychosis. And listen, it's a very, very complicated case. I have to say, I am, from what I have followed, very skeptical of the defense's arguments. Either way, she's going to either prison for a very long time or to be confined in a mental institution for a very long time. So at least there, she won't be a danger to anyone else. And the whole story really is horrific. Now, that said, there have been some bizarre cultural phenomenons playing out here as well, both with, and I covered this with Matt Walsh and others, some like right-wing blowhards basically downplaying or dissing the very real struggle that women go through after giving childbirth, both with postpartum depression and then in very rare cases with postpartum psychosis, but then also with some like bizarre and cultish women on the internet pretending that Lindsay Clancy somehow didn't kill her children through like bizarre conspiracy theories that the father actually did it, or somehow sympathizing with her actual urges to harm the kids in some disturbing videos I've seen. But I mean, some women just do feel that she was failed by the medical system, or know that maybe, or do believe that she struggled with postpartum psychosis and didn't know what she's doing. So there's some nuances to be drawn to all of that, but there's really no nuance or gray area when it comes to the behavior of this reporter who is making headlines for her bizarre behavior at the Lindsay Clancy trial. So here's the headline from Mediaite. Reporter working the Lindsay Clancy trial let go for unprofessional behavior, and it gets weirder from there. And then you can see in the image, Brittany Romano posing with the defense lawyer at Lindsay Clancy's trial. You know, that's what I do when I'm reporting on an event is, as a very serious journalist, take a selfie with the defense lawyers, huh? That's bad enough, but we haven't gotten to the weird part. Correct. Anyway, here's the more from the article. As the trial for Lindsay Clancy is close to wrapping up, an odd side drama has developed involving one journalist. Brittany Romano, who was working the trial for Vanity Fair, has seen her credentials pulled after a deeply odd decision to start mugging for the courtroom camera during the serious proceedings. Seen on the live feed on Court TV during one portion of the trial, the camera switched to begin panning the press gallery, and Romano is standing with others. While most had a solemn or neutral expression, Romano had a big smile and was clearly preening for the camera. She even winked at one point. We're going to cut to that clip now. It's really quite something. Yeah, that's actually extremely bizarre and creepy way to respond to being on camera at a trial of a mother who killed her children. God forbid you show some respect or humility or decorum rather than act like a fangirl at a concert or something. Very bizarre. Anyway, more from the article here. Caught outside the courtroom on Monday, Romano explained that she posed for the camera at the behest of her father. He was home watching the proceedings and had expressed his daughter did not look happy anytime she appeared on screen. Apparently, he was expecting some measure of ebullience while she is attending the trial surrounding the murder of 3 children. That's when you tell your dad, hey, the reason I'm not smiling on camera is because it's a horrific murder trial. And I'm a serious journalist trying to do my job, unless you're not, which he's very clearly not. And that came out. And of course, somehow she's the victim in all of this, guys, as you will see from her extensive Instagram crash out after the fact, because in a completely unsurprising and 1000% justified plot twist, Vanity Fair let her go from whatever freelance arrangement they had going on. Anyway, more from the article here. It then gets more obtuse. During her explanation, Romano let it be known she had actually grown up with the woman being charged, Lindsay Clancy. Well, this raises questions about objectivity. Yeah, it sure does. In truth, she had been retained by Vanity Fair because of this connection to the defendant. The publication has decided to cut ties with Romano after her display. And here's a statement from Vanity Fair. We were interested in the prospect of a personal essay by Brittany Romano about her experience growing up with Lindsay Clancy, Vanity Fair said in a statement. Yesterday, after clear conflicts with our editorial standards and processes, we informed Romano that we were not moving forward with her essay and informed the court that she is no longer credentialed by Vanity Fair. So, that's weird. All of this is weird. But I guess better late than never in terms of cutting ties with this extremely strange woman who cosplays as a reporter. I mean, again, and they go through this here in the Mediaite article, she like took a selfie with the defense attorney, gagging like she'd just encountered her favorite pop artist or something. This gives psychosis. This gives like Luigi Mangione fangirl type of behavior, all in the context of however you feel about the underlying dispute about psychosis or not of a horrific and grisly murder trial. Do people just have no class or decorum or seriousness anymore? Why do I ask these questions that I know the answer to? Of course they don't. It's 2026. Our society is a joke, and our media is a joke as well. Anyway, more from the article here. Adding to the inappropriate nature of things, Romano also was seen in the halls of the court getting comfortable with her former friend's legal team. It might be more than fair to ask if there is a question of objectivity when a reporter is taking gleeful selfies with the defense lawyer. Brittany, a former Teen Vogue reporter who also contributes to Elle magazine and Cosmopolitan, was not seen in attendance at the trial on Tuesday. Despite this severing of a professional relationship, the journalist appears to have no remorse over her behavior. After facing her share of backlash on social media, she posted on Instagram, "All for smiling at a camera. Love it. Thank you so much for boosting my analytics. XOXO." Wow, what a crazy, crazy way to respond to extremely valid criticism of your conduct after you wink at the camera during a murder trial. Am I taking crazy pills? Like, I can't be the only one that finds that obscene and bizarre. And then the fact that she would get this backlash, get released from her freelance agreement with Vanity Fair, and then she thinks she did nothing wrong? No, sorry, no. And it's like very telling that somebody like this could establish a foothold in this area of journalism. Very telling, unfortunately, about what flies around there and the kind of ideological valence this woman has as well. Anyway, I want to go through perhaps the most dramatic and pathetic, really, Instagram statement I've seen in a while, which is, of course, saying something. Here's what she wrote. "Yesterday, I smiled in court for 3 seconds, and TMZ pulled the footage from Court TV's feed and turned it into 2 articles about me on the same day Dolly Parton died." Okay, bitch, what does Dolly Parton's death have to do with anything? So nobody can criticize you because on the day you did ridiculous behavior, Dolly Parton also died? What? That doesn't make sense. That's a deflection. Anyway, I smile through anxiety. I smile when I'm uncomfortable. That is not indifference. It is a nervous system managing strain the only way it knows how. This is cap because you winked at the camera. It's not even that you just smiled awkwardly. And then outside of the courtroom, you said it was because of a conversation you had with your father. So it's not your nervous system managing the only way you know how. You were specifically choosing to do this because your dad was watching at home and you wanted to wink at him or smile at him and shout him out. So she's just a liar. Like you're just absolutely lying through your teeth and not apologizing or taking any accountability for your inappropriate behavior. Because of course, guys, she is the victim. More here. I have been told repeatedly to take accountability and apologize when I have nothing to apologize for. What I have actually received are messages telling me to my wrists, threats to kill me in my sleep, and a resource of ways to itself, sent by people who claim they are defending Lindsay's mental health. Anyway, I will say this. Of course, I don't support any such conduct or threats or horrific messages being sent to her. I do want to point out that the fact that a small percentage of the criticism against you goes too far and is unhinged doesn't mean you did nothing wrong, doesn't negate the 99% of the criticism that is reasonable and well warranted. And our friend here is a tad hypocritical, because I will put this on screen, but she was going back and forth in Instagram with comments and told somebody to jump off a bridge. So, sounds like you are not exactly above the kind of comments you are complaining about receiving. Anyway, the final post here from her that I'll read: a smile is not a crime. A human moment. Surviving a hard day is not an invitation to destroy someone. Cover the case, cover the verdict, cover the family this was always about, and leave my expression out of it. I'm sorry, but this is just the most insufferable, narcissistic babbling that I have encountered in a minute. Because what do you mean? Surviving a hard day. Surviving? Was there some kind of threat to your life in the courtroom that I missed? Obviously, covering a trial that is so grisly and disturbing is not for the faint of heart and is not the most pleasant experience on the sun. It is also something under the sun. It is also something you opted into and chose to do. There was no gun to your head forcing you to cover this trial or to seek a freelance arrangement with Vanity Fair or anything like that. So if it was going to be too difficult for you, you should have simply not done it. But then what's more, it's like there's no threat to you. You didn't survive something. And then as far as it's just a smile, again, you're downplaying what you actually did on the video and the series of compounding inappropriate and unprofessional decisions and conflicting statements you made about it, and then an invitation to destroy someone. I mean, I'm not trying to destroy you. I think most people aren't. We're just questioning whether you should be employed as a journalist about this trial when you are not only personally conflicted on the story, but exhibiting extremely biased and unhinged and unprofessional behavior while covering it. It's like, I can't stand when people face legitimate criticism and then play the victim and I'm not a cancel culture person. I don't believe that, like, if she messed up and just apologized, that she should be never allowed to work in journalism again, or that she should be hounded and harassed to the end of her days or chased off the internet or anything like that. But you literally refuse to apologize despite having behaved yourself in audaciously inappropriate and unprofessional ways. You then gaslit and lied repeatedly about or gave conflicting stories, which means one of them has to not be true, right? So there's lies in there. There's questions about your credibility and honesty. And then you played the victim and downplayed what you did and literally said that you refused to apologize or take accountability because you did nothing wrong. So yeah, people aren't going to be thrilled by that. And again, I don't support anyone harassing her or threatening her or anything like that. Of course not. But you're not the victim in this situation. The ego, the narcissism, and the entitlement is off the charts. And oh boy, if this is not just a perfect example of the small percentage of women supporting, and I guess it's not just women, but I do primarily see women supporting Lindsay Clancy or obsessing over Lindsay Clancy that are clearly, and this will be an understatement, doing so from a place of some form of psychological instability. I feel comfortable saying, after walking through this little media drama we've got here. Anyway, guys, that's just my take on the situation. What the heck do I know about anything? You'll have to let me know what you think in the comments below. Maybe you think this journalist did nothing wrong and is completely professional and appropriate. You can let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you aren't yet, and do consider becoming a channel member here on YouTube to support my work. With that, guys, we will leave it there for this one and be back with more real soon.